Welcome back. SRF, Navin Fluorine, these are the two stocks on our radar, and they've shot up more than 10%. To understand what's driving them higher, we have Krishanchandra Parwani, Chemicals Research Analyst at JM Financial Institutional Securities, joining in. Thank you very much for joining in. What we understand is that US gas distributors have announced price hikes for refrigerant gases. So what are the implications? First, tell us a little bit more on the news, what you've picked up. Have you confirmed the news? And what is the implication for a company like SRF? What percentage of its business comes from refrigerant gases? Do they supply only to the US? If they have sales in India also, will this price hike take place in India too? How should we look at it?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you. Firstly, so I guess is one of the distributors in the US distributing ref gas. So there is a press release. So we have seen that press release, and they have indicated that due to the supply crunch in the US, they'll be taking price hikes of certain gases R32 and R125 by as high as 200%. So that is confirmed. And in terms of SRF, the ref gas business is almost 40-50% of the chemical business. And also within that, the ref gas business, roughly 40-50% is the exports and largely to the US market. So in terms of the exports opportunity, so this is a very good opportunity for SRF with increased prices.
Understood that. So Krishanchandra, give us a sense. When Q2 results were announced, the management actually said, the business or the outlook as far as the chemicals part of the business is concerned is quite subdued for Q3. And they said they are expecting a marginal recovery only in Q4. So what has changed materially? Why have prices shot up by almost 200% like you just mentioned? And if you could give us a sense of both for SRF as well as Navin, what percentage of their top line comes from this particular business, and especially from exports in the US, if you've had a chance to look at it?
Sure. So firstly, the prices haven't yet shot up. There is a possibility that these prices could get hiked. So that's point number one. Okay. Point number two is, the phase down of HFC gases have started in started from January 24 in the US and other developed countries. It's just that now with increasing demand and probably the consumption of the previous inventory, the demand supply mismatch has started in now. And with January, there is a contract renewal for most of the US supplies. So that's why you're seeing the press release now in January. Now, as I explained, for SRF, the mentioned gases capacity, R32 and R125 capacity is closer to 29,000, 30,000 tons. So they have been exporting closer to 10,000, 12,000 tons, depending on the year, depending on the gases. So at a $4 price, the realization comes to about $50 million. Now, if these prices are hiked by even if 100%, that means an incremental $40-50 million kind of sales for SRF. And this could flow down directly to the bottom line. You'll have to deduct the taxes. So the implication could, the PAT number that we have for FY26 is closer to $210 million odd. So which implies, even 100% hike could raise your estimates by as high as 19-20%.
So minimum $40-50 million boost to the profitability in FY26. That's right. That's the number, correct?
So if the prices were to hike by 100%, prices were to go from, let's say, $3.5, $4 currently to $7 to $8 per kg, and if SRF gets that business, so that is considering those things, yes.
One more question. So now that prices are hiked in the US, and that is only 40 to 50% of their refrigerant business, chemicals business. Is there a linkage between domestic prices? Should we assume that even domestic prices go up? How will it affect the balance business of SRF?
So we have seen that there is a disconnect between the domestic prices and the export prices, clearly because of the demand-supply gap that has gotten created in the US, but it's not the case in the domestic market. Domestic supply is ample, so we don't see that the domestic prices would follow suit the export prices. So no material impact there for the domestic business, we would say.
Okay, Krishanchandra, I don't know if you track Navin Fluorine, but any sense of what is the kind of capacity that Navin has, and we understand that they also stand to benefit. And lastly, does this mean that the majority of the pain as far as the chemical space is concerned is now coming to an end?
So relating this ref gas to other chemicals part would be an overstatement. Given this is just specific to the refrigerant gases, and it does not concern the specialty chemicals or the agrochemicals weakness that we have witnessed over the last couple of quarters. So it does not change. And for other players in terms of capacity, so other players have capacities in the range of 4,000 to 5,000 tons, and probably they are also increasing by a similar amount. So yeah, I mean, you can calculate it's lower than SRF's, because SRF is the largest and stands to benefit the most out of them all.
Krishan, very well explained for all our viewers. Thank you very much for joining in today.